Hello, Mr. Peter.
Oh, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. What about you?
Fine. Um, will you say your name, please? Because I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Elias.
Ilya.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was a kid, there was a very famous character in a weekly series called The Man from Uncle, and his name was Ilya Kuryakin. I
Ilya.
think I think it was a Russian name, but yeah, Ilya. Okay, got that now.
It's pronounced
He's
very
a hero,
smoothly.
big hero.
All right. Um,
So, what's the story?
in the specific, in the outset, the best interest of this meeting, as I told you before, is to share expertise, teaching knowledge, between foreign teacher like you, Mr. Peter, and also to transfer what you have acquired and what you have challenged to local teachers, mainly Algerian teachers, my local teacher. This is the purpose of this interview, Mr. Peter.
By the way, you can just say Peter because Mr. Peter makes it sound like you're one of my pupils, and it's what the kids used to call me, Mr. Peter, just Peter. So you're from Algeria.
Yeah, indeed.
What part?
In the western part,
The western part. How, like up on the on the coastline
near the coast,
near
yeah. Mascara,
near, yeah. Okay.
it is
What's
called
it called?
Mascara.
Muscat. Yeah, that's very close to the border with Morocco, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed, yeah. Near Tlemcen.
I went through it. I hitchhiked through it in 1979, I think.
Oh, that's splendid.
Yeah, I traveled a lot. I hitchhiked through Algeria. My girlfriend, we were the first white couple to hitchhike across the Sahara. We went from Hassi to Tamarasset,
Oh,
hitchhiking.
so we were traveling
Yeah,
as a tourist.
as hitchhikers.
Ah,
Yeah, long time ago, long time ago. We met the most wonderful people. Wonderful. I have great memories of, particularly of southern Algeria. I really loved southern Algeria. The north was very different, very nice, especially compared to Morocco. But still, it was, of all of the African countries I've been to, it was my favorite.
you have visited all the other countries near
Uh,
Algeria?
Tunisia, uh, uh, Libya, Egypt, Algeria. We tried to get into Chad, but there was a war going on. We returned back. We it was called something else then, Spanish Sahara. The war turned us back. We eventually got into Morocco. Didn't like it at all. It's the only place we didn't like. And then later on, I've been to Zambia.
Zambia, yeah.
So yeah, I
I came,
don't know Africa, but I know a tiny little bit of Africa.
yeah, yeah, in the
We
map.
were there for about 4 or 5 months.
Oh, so recent years.
No,
No.
no, 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 no. Back in the 70s, late 70s. We were
Oh,
there from October to March, I think, something like that. Mostly in Algeria, mostly in the south.
that seems interesting. Um, could we start the school
Sure.
or the educational context?
Yep.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Um, at first, could you please tell us about yourself? I'm referring to your teaching experience and your qualification, academic qualifications.
Okay. Academic qualifications, first of all. I started off with a diploma in building, it's called Construction Studies, in 78 from Ireland, and I went traveling. Because I'm a traditional Irish musician, I traveled a lot, and as I said, I ended up in North Africa. I then moved to Amsterdam 1980, and I lived in Amsterdam, and I started running my own businesses there until that was from 1980 until 1998. And then while I was still in Netherlands, I sat and passed a TEFL diploma course, the full diploma course in TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language. I'd always loved teaching English everywhere I went. And then I came back to Ireland in late 98. We started a bed and breakfast that eventually became an eco-lodge, and I think around 2008, possibly, I got back into academia and I did a course called, first of all, I did Start Your Own Business course. And then I did Train the Trainer. And this is really, really useful course for people who wish to teach, basically. And then I did another course in, not relevant to this, but it was in tourism. And as a result of that, I won an award called Tourism Business Challenge 2010 from Fáilte, Ireland. I was shortlisted, I didn't actually win it. And this got me interested in academia once again. And as a result of being highly placed for that award and some of the work I was doing with tourism and ecotourism, and I won the European Union Flower Award for ecotourism. Fáilte Ireland then asked me if I would be interested in taking a degree course in small and medium enterprise at WIT Waterford. I started that, I think, in 2010, possibly 2009, and because it was actually over. It took almost 5 years because there was a kind of a run-in because of prior learning and multi. And while I was involved in that, I also got involved in a trial course run by Trinity St David of Wales, and they invited me to join a postgraduate certificate course at level 9, the QQI 9 course. So I did that, and then I finished my degree. So I did my postgrad first, then my grad. Then I did a lot of other ancillary courses in business at the time. I forgot to mention, I'd also when I came back to Ireland, I did a course on teaching Irish traditional music formally. So it's called a TTCT. And so I had a second teaching course done. So the TEFL, and then I had TTCT, Irish Traditional Music course. And then I finished my degree. I finished a few business courses at QQI 6 in businesses. And then I was offered a chance to do a postgrad in entrepreneurism. I did that. But around that time, our business here with the bed and breakfast and Eco Lodge, it closed, it finished, long story. And I had to reinvent myself. So I used to, ad hoc, I used to teach medieval archery here at the Eco Lodge. So I was involved in other groups, and then I got invited by Waterford Museum of Medieval Treasures. Would I teach, would I coach and explain about medieval archery for a season there? So I took up that challenge. And while I was there, I was asked, would I become involved in tour guiding? So I did a little bit of tour guiding, and then I did a course to be a tour director. That was in London. And this was all going fine until COVID, because I decided that I was going to be a tour guide, tour director, two different things. And I did a course, full-time course, starting September 2019. That finished in January 2020. So I became a full-fledged tour guiding manager, national diploma, national certificate. And that was just in time for COVID. So then and then I decided I needed to work, so I needed to up my. So I sat and passed the CELTA, teaching English as a second language, Cambridge University. And I also sat a few different courses with the Open University, teaching online, teaching global teaching, teaching the community, and also teaching medical English as a language. All through this, I've been teaching music in the evenings and some archery, and I've had a few language students online. So my teaching experience is very ad hoc. The only time I ever really was heavily involved was in the summers of 2004, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I used to teach English as a foreign language at the Youghal International School. Youghal is directly south of us here. It's between Dungarvan and Cork, Youghal town. So there was a Spanish school used to come over for the summer, and they would take over a school there, and I would teach there 6 days a week. Five days a week, 6 hours a day for summer, and that has been my teaching experience, with the odd exception also of teaching music or crafts in primary school. I do some handcrafts. As I said, it's not your average, it's not your regular way of teaching. That's it.
Okay, that was fascinating, Mr. Peter. I assume you have an adequate teaching experience in the field. I mean, as I heard, you taught English, music, so you have a variety of subjects.
And I've taught, yeah, and I've taught Dutch and I've taught Irish language.
Beg your pardon?
I also teach Irish language online and Dutch, beginner.
Understood.
And it'd be preliminary A1.
I see. Next one, the next question, Peter. We need to, yeah. We need to know about the, since you are from Ireland, we need to know about the school system in Ireland, how it is structured, the layout of its curriculum. That is, what I'm seeking is what school curriculum that is used in Ireland and what its objectives.
That's a really, really interesting question that I could sit and have a coffee with you sometime about. But you have to understand, I left the Irish school curriculum in 1974, having had 14 years of Irish school. It still remains pretty much the same, very broad based. Back then, there was almost no foreign language being taught at all. I had Irish, English, and Latin. Um, I was most aggrieved. I actually wanted to study German, but couldn't. Um, the Irish school system, what can I say about it? It's supposed to be really, really good by comparison with other school systems around the world. It certainly churns out reasonably well educated children.
Is it like GCSE in Britain?
No, I'm actually trying to avoid comparison with Britain because, first of all, I'm not too au fait with the British system. I'm familiar enough to suggest that they had a kind of an 11-year-old certificate, which has been dropped in most places and it was taken back in some. They have the O levels, which would be the equivalent of our what's now called a junior cert. In my day, it was an inter cert. And then they have something called the A levels, which would be something like the equivalent of an Irish honours leaving cert, um, which is QQI level 5. You can't really equate that to the Irish system because the Irish school system is much broader. Children will come out of British schools with 2, 3, even 4 A levels, which is considered very, very high, whereas you have to come out with 7 subjects in Ireland, and there could either be 7 passes, 7 honours, or any mixture in between. I think with me it was two or three honours classes. And even at that, I was dropped from the honours classes in maths, English at the last minute, and then the teachers apologised afterwards and said they shouldn't have done. It's a different system altogether when it gets to that level. And even though I spent 20 years in the Netherlands and my stepson, went through the system, I couldn't possibly answer because they've got MAVO, BAVO, gymnasium, all kinds of different ways. And that's, even the Dutch people get lost trying to explain that one. So all I can say, broad-based, wide education that focuses not so much on learning, but on memorization, rote learning, and churning out facts and figures that have been given to them.
What about the objectives?
Is to produce a middle class of civil servants. I don't see any other reason for education for the education system in Ireland. It's nothing else but to produce civil servants. Certainly, back in my day, there was no cognizance, no room for any individualism or art. None. Zero. I was beaten up for playing music by the teachers.
Could you please tell us about the objectives so that we can learn about, I mean, have a clear picture about your systems?
Well, I can't. I just explained to you, I can't because, first of all, it's 45, 46 years ago. Secondly, I I have my what I experienced back then, plus whatever I've read about it since returning back to Ireland 20 years, in the last 20 years. So I can't give you an overview I can't give you an objective because
Even
I
for
have.
students, I'm referring to students. How, I mean, it's beneficial to students. How come it will enhance the learning capabilities and so forth? This is the object. This is just, I just want to hint for you.
I don't. The point is all about rote learning and memorization and fitting into the boxes, fitting into the yeah, fitting into the boxes that are set for them by the educational system. I that's my point. I I can't be objective about it because I'm not too happy about it. I don't like the system.
Understood. So let us skip this question and move to the next one. So could you please remind us again about the subject or the subject you have taught during your teaching expertise?
What did I taught? Oh, okay. Well, uh, first of all, I've taught music. I've been teaching music since I was 17.
Yeah.
And up until COVID, I was teaching mostly in the evening time. Sometimes on a Saturday morning, I used to have a regular school on a Saturday morning. Um, then I started teaching English. I started giving English classes as I traveled around Europe, teaching, playing in colleges, and then I would offer my services either the day before or the morning after the concert because I had nothing else to do. And I really got to like teaching English as to particularly to older teenagers and young adults. Then I did the TEFL, TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language, and I started teaching with the Amsterdam University by way of giving practice classes, practice in speaking, just regular conversational classes with the Engels Seminarium of Amsterdam University. And I was overseen by an assistant professor at the time, Witzel. And then when I came back to Ireland, then I 4 evenings plus Saturday, all Saturday morning, I was teaching. So that would have been about.
When you came back, sorry, sir, when you came back to Ireland, because the internet was interrupted, when you came to Ireland, what did you taught?
I was teaching, when I came back to Ireland, I was teaching, I was traditional music. I was traditional music, and then I was also asked in Ring College to teach classical and a little baroque. That was just one season. And then I started teaching formally, started teaching medieval archery, longbow, warbow archery in a Waterford Museum under Eamon McInerney. And since then,
I took a break from teaching, and I started. I still had some pupils coming, private individuals, but I wasn't running a school as such. I was busy then, as I said, with the travel tour guiding, and then I started teaching English online in April. But I felt that I needed to up my game, and I took the CELTA, and since then I've been teaching again individuals, not really, not enough, not enough to feel that I'm a teacher per se, but I do teach, but
I
it's not
see.
enough people.
I see that.
Need more.
Thank you for the insightful information you have given. Let us move to the next one. Needless to say, Mr. John, you probably taught students from various educational backgrounds. In particular, each student has a distinct way of learning. It should be his learning style, his vision, how he can cite or learn by something according to his, I mean, previous expertise or previous educational background where he or she come from. So the question is, how would you teach English to students or foreign students from various educational background? How would you teach that?
Well, the first thing any teacher should do is to find out what level the pupil is at, and within that there's a range, and then you try and find out, are the pragmatists, are the theorists. You want to find out, first of all, what do they know. Then you want to find out how can they learn, what's the best way, and then you go about setting goals and paths to get them to focus and project management. You will have goalposts, you'll have goals along the way, and you try and stick to those. And if you don't, you keep questioning what's wrong, what's going wrong. Is the problem with the teacher, the method of teaching, or is it that the wrong approach has been taken to the pupil? So
Yeah, splendid. Anything else, Peter?
no, it's how I would teach a pupil. It depends on the pupil, and the biggest fear I have is of working with a company or a school where they throw pupils of different levels and abilities all together in one class,
Yeah.
because you're either going to be going too slow for some or too fast for others, and the big fear then is people dropping out or being bored, or indeed just getting totally lost. And running a class, particularly a series of classes, is rather like running a train. And every time you go to go from one station to the next station, you check and make sure everybody is still on board, and you're not leaving some behind, and you're not. Some people aren't just wandering off because they're bored. That aspect actually is probably one of the hardest. Probably is the hardest, because it's the one that cause the most work and preparation, is making sure that you're fulfilling the needs and wishes of all the pupils.
That's insightful. We come to a close with the final question. because they do not last longer. You have probably scheduled things to do.
Hold on, but I didn't know how long this was going to take, so fine. I got some study I have to get back to, but we're doing okay. Fine, with.
All right. You told me in the preceding messages or preceding contacts we have done before, you told me that you taught only one student since the COVID situation that happened. You taught online.
Yeah.
Only one student.
Only
So,
one student formally. That was. I mean, I've taken others for informal classes. People would phone me up or Skype me or something and say, look, can we discuss this? Can we talk about that? Can you direct me? But I've only had one formal class teaching Irish, as it happens. Yeah. So my experience is limited.
Yeah, we can benefit from that even. Um, what kind of teaching resources you rely on most? I'm talking about online resources while teaching via distance learning.
Well, first of all, we used Zoom. So
Zoom.
within Zoom, within Zoom, you've got useful. I also um, had pre-prepared slides, so I used PPS, and to a lesser extent, uh, actually, did I use any at all? No, I didn't use any audio.
Audio. Yeah.
Audio, as in prepared. The text of the song to the video or the audio of the song, and that person would have to come back and have a go at translation, a rough translation of the song. I love teaching through the medium of song or poetry, but preferably song, because that way then you're repeating the same phrases over and obviously you don't want something too full of romantic language or poetic language. You want to keep it on the level, but that's what I did in this case. I think we got through 3 songs by the end of the 10 days.
Yeah. At last, could you please suggest to our local teacher any platform that you useful to teach? Because we also here in Algeria, we are teaching online. So could you please suggest any good resource or platform?
And Google Docs is good because you could have 2 or 3, or you could have 20 people all working together and all filling in, and you can see who's adding which bit and what. That's really, really good, Google Docs. I liked Zoom for the simple reason there were so many
options
ways you can use it. I have used Microsoft Meeting, didn't like it at all. I've used Skype.
Skype, okay.
Skype has improved. I'm not a great believer in Skype. Too many problems with it. And the Zoom seems to be more steady platform, it's built for today's world. Perhaps in 5 years' time we'll move on to something else. But right now, I prefer Skype for video interaction, and I like Google Docs when it comes to multiple people working together In fact, when I did my degree, most of it was done online, and that's 10, 12 years, 10, 11 years ago. Most of it was done online, and most of it was done in the Harvard system, where you would be grouped with two or three others, and we all had to develop work together, working at the same time, all together, on the same page, which took a little bit of getting used to, but it worked fine. And now I'm fine with Google Docs. Quite like it, in fact.
I see. Mr. Peter, I need to say Mr.
All right. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
It's a cultural thing. It's lovely.
It has to do with intercultural context.
It's charming. It just makes me feel an awful lot older.
No. It's a matter of respect only. This is the.
I understand that. I understand that.
As you are an expert teacher, so I need to add Mr. to the name. I just want to thank you for affording me your valuable time in order to conduct this interview. Thank you very much. I'm very appreciative.
I have no problem. I love helping people. It's just part of who I am. It's part of my makeup. I actually enjoy helping people. My issue is help too. My question for you is, first of all, congratulations on your English. Very, very good. What is your connection with WIT? I understand you found me through WIT, Waterford Institute of Technology. No?
No.
How did you find me?
Through Tutor.
Through what?
Through how did I find you?
Yes.
Just randomly, I wrote your name, and you have commented. You comment on my post.
Oh, I see. For some reason, I thought you were a student at WIT, my alma mater.
No. I'm a member of Tutor Group, Tutor Ninjas, the British platform.
Yeah, must be Tutor Ninjas. Okay.
And you commented on my post. Therefore, I took the opportunity and scheduled the interview with you.
Okay, I'm just sure. So, are you actually now in Algeria?
Yeah, I'm recently living in Algeria.
I thought I heard a kind call to prayer.
Sorry?
I heard a call to prayer coming from the
background. Yeah, I'm a Muslim. I'm Arabic. I'm Muslim at the same time.
All right.
All right. That was all. Thank you very much. It was beneficial, and you gave us all the information concerning the classroom context.
I'm really sorry that I hadn't. First of all, I hadn't fully understood that you weren't from Ireland. That's why I was perhaps a little bit vague about my talking Irish education. You see, Irish education is not a subject, formal Irish education. I'm a little bit negative about it because I had a bad experience with bad teachers. But then we're talking about, I started school in 1961. And I left secondary school in 75 in the middle of the war up north with Northern Ireland, and my father was from the north, my mother's from the south. We lived on the border. It was a difficult time to be a young person, and it was also a time when the Catholic Church held schools on a very, very narrow, rigid path. And I think school systems have broadened out a lot more since then. We now have schools teaching in our own language, Irish language. We now have schools that are secular, multi-religious. Um, we have schools that accept people that are different, artists, musicians, um, that are more individual than the majority of the population. I think our Irish school system has changed. Unfortunately, it's changed too late for me.
Understood. So it's a farewell.
Okay, look, you have my contact details. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to come back to me.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Uh,
I will do. I promise you I will do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. It's just that for some reason, I thought you were in Ireland and this was something to do with.
Okay. So he did not
Fine.
check my personal contact. He did not see where I'm living.
Oh, no, no. I'm in the middle of a couple of really intensive studies at the moment, and
Good luck with that.
you reached out for help. I didn't check on you. I just got help.
Whatever. Yeah. All right. Again, I appreciate your help and valuable time. And that's it. I hope you stay safe. Enjoy your time, and we may contact again.
I'm trying very hard to. I used to be able to say see you later or farewell in Arabic, but I forget.
وداعا.
Wadak.
وداعا.
Yeah. Well, in Ireland we would say slán. Slán is part of the word for sláinte, which means good health.
Could you please repeat
Slán.
again?
Slán. Slán means bye.
Bye.
Slán.
Okay.
Sláinte means good health. Love the J in the hand of God.
Okay.
Love the J. Okay.
Thank you for this word. Goodbye, Mr. Peter. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.